Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 28 based on novel. So let's start. While he retreated, Wang Lin's eyes were bright and stared at the giant tortoise that was disappearing. After the tortoise disappeared, joy filled his eyes. I didn't expect the great emperor planet to have the ancient soul restriction. Wang Lin took a deep breath. It took him a long time to suppress the excitement in his heart. He couldn't help but be excited. If he could learn all 4 great restrictions and fuse them, he would have a chance to comprehend the restriction essence. If he succeeded, then Wang Lin wouldn't just have 5 essence, but 6 essences. 6 essences. If this information spread out, it would shock all cultivators. Even third-step cultivators would be terrified. The more one understood about essences, the more they understood what having 6 essences meant. 5 essences was already extremely shocking. However, 1 more would be even more shocking. But similarly, having 6 essences would make completing them much more difficult. Wang Lin's breathing was rough and he subconsciously licked his lips. I have obtained the annihilation restriction, the life and death restriction, and the time restriction. Although I haven't had too much time to study them, if I can learn the ancient soul restriction, I will have learned all 4 great restrictions. At that time, Wang Lin's heart pounded. This chance was too unexpected. It had appeared completely outside of Wang Lin's expectations. His eyes lit up, and after a long time, he suppressed his excitement completely. Who is this great emperor to use the ancient soul restriction on an arena? Wang Lin felt even more dread toward this mysterious great emperor. He let me come here early. Could it be that everything was within his expectations and he expected me to be attracted by the restriction? Wang Lin silently pondered, and the more he analyzed the current situation, the faster the excitement in his heart dissipated. This great emperor planet is filled with strange things. There is no atmosphere, it's covered in strange vegetation, and it contains the ancient soul restriction. Wang Lin landed on the sparse land without vegetation on the northwest region. The ground was grey, and after landing, Wang Lin grabbed a handful of dirt. After taking a closer look, his expression darkened even more. Just at this moment, rumbles echoed across the sky. It was the messenger bringing more cultivators in. Wang Lin looked up, and with a step, he disappeared. He reappeared on the eastern side of the planet, an area filled with endless vegetation. Wang Lin sat there as he looked at the grey soil in his hand and frowned. This soil looks ordinary, but I feel like something is wrong with it, Wang Lin pondered and closed his eyes. The memory gradually appeared in his mind. It was when he took a step into the gate in the heaven-defying bead. He had turned into chaos and then floated in the void before turning into a cultivation planet. Wang Lin had a powerful impression of this memory. It was that experience that allowed him to gain a vague understanding of many things. He clearly remembered that after he turned into a planet, countless years passed and volcanoes erupted on the planet. The materials from the center of the planet escaped through the volcanoes and covered the planet's surface. These things dried out and gradually turned into soil. Some extremely primitive vegetation was born inside his soil. As the vegetation grew and died, vitality began to form in the soil, and it fused with the vitality of the entire planet. When a planet forms in the void, it has no soil. The soil is gradually generated. In other words, the age of the soil on a planet is uneven and should be younger than the planet itself. Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes, revealing a strange light as he stared at the soil. After a long time, he softly said, "Flowing time." The power of time spread out from his body and surrounded the soil in his hand. It seemed to be searching for when the soil was born. However, the soil was born too long ago and it was impossible for Wang Lin to trace it back that far with his cultivation. However, he was still able to get a general idea. After a very long time, Wang Lin waved his right hand and the soil scattered. Then he arrived next to some vegetation, and after grabbing a handful, he used flowing time once more. After a moment, Wang Lin let go of the soil in his hand and let it fall. There was enlightenment in his eyes. If this soil was formed by nature, there would be an uneven age. However, the soil here seems to have been born at the same time. There are only two possible explanations. One is that shortly after the planet was born, all the volcanoes on it erupted at the same time. They were all destroyed and formed this soil. However, this is kind of unreasonable. After all, the primal vegetation that give this soil vitality can't all grow and die at the same time. If this isn't true, then there is only one explanation. Everything here is man-made. It was created by someone a long time ago with a powerful spell. Wang Lin took a deep breath. He was also a powerful cultivator now, so he could imagine someone creating a planet. The cultivation level required was unimaginable. While silently pondering, Wang Lin shook his head. He didn't even dare to believe it himself. He didn't know that if others knew of his speculation, it would shock many people. Few cultivators could figure out so many things through clues found from the soil. Even if they had the ability, unless they knew the life cycle of a planet, they wouldn't be able to come to this conclusion. Wang Lin was the first person to figure out the origin of this planet from the soil. If the mysterious Great Emperor knew of this, he would also be greatly shocked. It was even more shocking than the fact this was a man-made planet. Between cultivators, aside from the difference in cultivation level, there was also the understanding of Tao. Tao, in truth, was the understanding of how the world worked. Someone who understood how the world functioned, and possessed a matching cultivation level, could achieve unbelievable results. After scattering the soil, Wang Lin pondered for a bit before lying down on a leaf and looking at the grey sky, pondering. He was someone who liked to think. It was because of all this thinking that he was able to survive all the dangers in his life. Although Wang Lin was extremely arrogant to the Sovereign Council's Grandmaster Yun Luo and Master Simo, in truth, he was extremely cautious. Although he didn't know what the Great Emperor's intent was, it didn't prevent him from borrowing the Great Emperor's power for his own use. This method was very practical in this cruel cultivation world. Those that knew how to take advantage of the situation would be able to achieve their goal in the end. Rays of light continued to flash across the sky as more people entered the Great Emperor planet. Wang Lin lied on the leaf, looking at the people passing by, and slowly touched the giant leaf below him. Just at this moment, his expression suddenly changed and he touched his right hand. When he was touching the leaf with his right hand, he felt a faint trace of origin energy leaving his hand outside of his control and get absorbed by the leaf. However, when he looked closely, he found nothing, as if what he had just felt was an illusion. Wang Lin sat up and his eyes lit up. Although he had found nothing, he had that shocking feeling in his mind. He flew into the air and looked down. The endless vegetation slowly swayed. This Great Emperor planet is extremely strange. Wang Lin no longer wanted to set foot on the vegetation. He began to fly around the Great Emperor planet and carefully observed his surroundings with his divine sense. The sky gradually darkened. The only source of light that remained were the rays of light flashing through the sky. Wang Lin wasn't moving fast, and around dusk, he saw a lake surrounded by endless vegetation, and beside it was an old man in white. The old man was sitting on the side of the lake with a fishing rod in his hand. He was currently fishing. There was also a wine jug beside him. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. This was the first person he had seen aside from the messenger and the people flying across the sky. After pondering a bit, Wang Lin didn't leave but slowly landed behind the old man. The old man ignored him and continued to look at the lake. Wang Lin sat down on the side and also didn't speak. The surroundings were completely quiet. The only sound was the sound of people breaking the sound barrier in the distance. However, that noise seemed to merge with the silence and didn't feel disruptive. The water was very clear. Although you couldn't see the bottom of the lake at a glance, you could clearly see that there were no fish in it. The young man and the old man sat there with the wine jug between them. Time slowly passed and the sky gradually darkened and the bright moon appeared above. The gentle wind blew by, causing the surrounding vegetation to rustle, but it didn't break the peace here. Gentle ripples set off on the surface of the lake due to the wind. The ripples seemed to pluck the moon from the sky and buried it deep within the lake. Looking at it now, one couldn't tell where the moon was. Was the moon hanging in the sky or buried deep in the lake? The serenity produced by this beautiful scene caused Wang Lin's tired heart to relax for the first time since he had come to the ancient star system. After an unknown amount of time, the old man's hoarse voice slowly echoed. "Do you drink?" Wang Lin picked up the wine jug. Without looking, he took a big gulp. When he swallowed the wine, it turned into a spicy feeling that burned from his abdomen to his throat. It was as if he had swallowed a dragon. Drops of sweat appeared on his forehead and immediately turned into white gas. The feeling of burning didn't disappear but became even stronger and filled his body. Wang Lin felt like his body was burning and the power of fire was going to erupt from his body. The heat cycled through his entire body. It was as if life had been injected into his origin energy. His origin energy seemed to come alive, and a moment later, Wang Lin noticed that his origin energy had increased a bit. Just as his origin energy increased a bit, the fire inside his body increased and surged through him. Even his body began to burn. Heat began to come out of his pores. It was an extremely shocking scene. This fire grew stronger and stronger, causing the vermilion birthmark to appear in his left eye. Blue fire erupted from his left eye and fused with the heat inside his body. The cry of a vermilion bird echoed as a blue vermilion bird flew out from his left eye. It coiled around Wang Lin, revealing a comfortable expression. It wasn't until 15 minutes later that the vermilion bird returned to Wang Lin's left eye and the heat in his body gradually disappeared. Wang Lin took a deep breath and said, "Good wine." The old man looked at Wang Lin with a kind smile before turning back to face the surface of the lake. Not just anyone would dare to drink this wine, even third-step cultivators would hesitate. Yet you went and downed a big gulp. What kind of wine is this? Wang Lin licked his lips. Just that mouthful had made the fire essence in his body stronger. What made him even more excited was that the wine had allowed his vermilion bird move closer to the next awakening. This isn't wine, but blood. The old man's expression was extremely kind and he smiled. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, and at this moment, a violent ripple echoed from the lake. There was also muffled roar coming from the bottom of the lake. The clear lake water became cloudy at this moment. Not even divine sense could extend more than half an inch inside. The old man laughed as his right hand held the fishing rod and jerked it backward. The fishing line shined silver under the moonlight and was immediately pulled straight. The roar from the bottom of the lake became even more intense and got closer and closer. Soon, as the fishing rod was being pulled, a head 1,000 feet large was pulled out from the lake. The head looked like a dragon. There was a bump on the head of the dragon. Its color was very dark, a brownish red. This old man wasn't fishing for fishes at all, he was fishing for a dragon. The dragon's head was extremely large, and it opened its mouth with the fishing line in its lip. The body that had extended out from the lake was more than 10,000 feet long. This sudden scene caused Wang Lin's expression to change and shock to appear in his eyes. Before the dragon, Wang Lin was like an ant. The red dragon let out a roar and moved its body as if it were trying to break free from the fishing line. However, the fishing line was made of some unknown material and was extremely tough. No matter how much the dragon struggled, it couldn't break free. The old man smiled as he pulled the fishing rod once more, pulling the dragon out and causing it to roar even more intensely. All of this happened in a flash. It was fast beyond imagination. Just at this moment, the red dragon seemed to notice that it was hopeless to struggle to escape. It suddenly let out a roar and charged at the old man. Before it even got close, a fishy wind blew over. As the dragon closed in, an indescribable aura suddenly erupted from the dragon. It was extremely powerful. Wang Lin's expression turned pale when the pressure hit him, and terror appeared in his eyes. The dragon was like a grinder that could crush all living things. Wang Lin subconsciously retreated a few steps. Third step. He clearly felt that this pressure was no weaker than the feeling Daoist water had brought him back then. A powerful beast comparable to third-step cultivators. Wang Lin sucked in a breath of cold air. He couldn't comprehend what was happening. If the old man was just fishing for a dragon, it would have been fine, but he was fishing for a dragon that had the power of a third-step cultivator. The old man smiled as he flew into the air with the fishing rod in his right hand and his left hand waved toward the dragon. Wang Lin immediately saw fire appear in the old man's left hand. This fire seemed illusory and was more like a fire mist. Then the old man waved his hand. It didn't look like he was using a spell, but there was a thunderous rumble. The dragon let out a miserable cry and its head jerked back as if it had been hit by a powerful force. As it was pushed back, the fire mist spread across the dragon's body. The sound of flesh burning echoed across the world. The screams from the dragon became even more miserable and it was about to go back into the lake. The old man waved the fishing rod in his hand and held the dragon in place. The dragon that was going to withdraw back into the lake let out another miserable scream and was pulled out a few hundred feet more out of the lake. "Damn it, you little fire dragon, how you dare to run from this old man," the old man roared as he jumped into the air. He landed on the roaring dragon's head and his hand mercilessly slammed down. The moment the old man raised his left hand, Wang Lin's mind rumbled and his pupils shrank from shock. He clearly saw something appear behind the old man at that moment. It was a giant vermilion bird. Its size was far larger than Wang Lin's vermilion bird, and it covered the sky. An ancient aura spread out from the giant vermilion bird, and an ethereal flame covered the entire vermilion bird. Ethereal fire. The moment the vermilion bird appeared, it let out a heaven-shaking cry. This scene shocked Wang Lin. The size of the vermilion bird, the amount of fire, and its power were far stronger than that of the old vermilion bird Divine Emperor. There was no comparison. It was like the difference between a young vermilion bird and its ancestor. The old man's left hand suddenly fell, and the moment it fell, the giant vermilion bird moved, fusing with his left hand. In an instant, the vermilion bird became one with the old man's left hand. From afar, one could no longer see the old man's left hand, they could only see the sharp beak of the vermilion bird. In the blink of an eye, the sharp break pierced through a bump on the dragon's head and a jet of blood shot out. "What are you startled for? Quickly, pick up the jug. Do you think this old body can withstand all this for long?" The old man looked up, and his roar echoed like thunder in Wang Lin's ears. Wang Lin grabbed the wine jug without hesitation and immediately collected the blood inside. However, the jug had a limit and was soon full. Seeing how there was still some dragon blood left, Wang Lin immediately took out a bottle to hold it. However, the moment the bottle touched the blood, it melted. It wasn't able to hold the blood at all. All of this happened in an instant. Seeing how the blood couldn't be collected and was going to fall into the lake, Wang Lin charged forward. He knew it was precious, so he rushed toward the falling blood and inhaled. With this, he inhaled all the dragon blood that was going to fall into the lake into his mouth. This mouthful contained about as much blood as 3 big gulps from before. When the old man saw what Wang Lin had done, he smiled. He jumped off the dragon's head and took back the fishing rod. His right foot stomped down when he jumped off the dragon. The dragon was extremely angry, but it didn't dare to roar. Borrowing the force of the old man's stomp, it quickly drilled into the lake and disappeared without a trace. "Good, you're indeed someone from my vermilion bird clan, and you know that wasting is shameful." The old man smiled and landed beside Wang Lin. After Wang Lin devoured the dragon blood, the fire in his body became monstrous and his face turned red. He had no time to pay attention to the old man, he sat down and cycled his origin energy. The old man stood beside Wang Lin and scanned him. He revealed a satisfactory smile. "I thought I'd never be able to see another junior again. This child's vermilion bird awakening is only one step away from the ethereal fire. This child is not simple. He should be my clan's 6th generation vermilion bird divine emperor. Not bad, not bad." The more the old man looked, the happier he became. He even crouched down and pinched Wang Lin's cheeks. Then he carefully patted Wang Lin's body. "Yes, definitely a member of my vermilion bird clan and not made by our enemy. However, this little fellow's body is actually an ancient god. Ha ha, not bad, not bad." There was excitement in the old man's eyes. The 4th generation vermilion bird was too frivolous and couldn't cultivate my spell. The 6th generation seems pretty cold and should be able to, As the old man patted Wang Lin's body, he was startled. His origin soul's yang has been broken. The old man revealed hatred in his eyes. He stopped patting Wang Lin and sat down. Juniors nowadays. All of them. Alas. It's still this old man who has the willpower, and my origin soul's yang is still intact to this day. The old man muttered for a while and looked hatefully at Wang Lin while shaking his head. Since his origin soul's yang is broken, not only can't he cultivate this old man's spell, but it would be much more difficult for him to enter the realm of ethereal fire than those that have their yang intact. Unfortunate, unfortunate. The old man sighed as he looked at Wang Lin, who was cultivating. However, as he looked, his eyes suddenly widened and he exclaimed, "Something is wrong. This little fellow's body." The old man's eyes widened and he walked next to Wang Lin. There was a hint of excitement and disbelief in his eyes. He decided to simply press his finger down on Wang Lin's forehead. He didn't hurt Wang Lin at all, but a mysterious force entered Wang Lin's body. When the old man withdrew his right hand, his eyes widened and he stared at Wang Lin's forehead. Just at this moment, an invisible fire flew out from Wang Lin's forehead. The moment the fire appeared, it filled the world, giving off unimaginable heat. At this moment, the invisible fire suddenly shrank until it turned into a weak flame. Although this flame was weak, there was a suffocating aura inside it. This was Wang Lin's fire essence. When the old man saw the fire essence, there was no change in his expression. It was as if he already knew about it. After the fire essence, another light came from Wang Lin's forehead. This light was heaven-shaking and extremely bright. Thunder rumbled as a bolts of thunder shot out from Wang Lin's forehead. The moment this thunder appeared, it formed a tattoo, and 9 accompanying thunders rotated around it, giving off a shocking force. The sky changed colors and the clouds scattered. The thunder essence was extremely strong. This was Wang Lin's second essence. What a great guy. Not only does he have the fire essence from his vermilion bird awakening a few times, he also has this thunder essence. I had noticed it before, but seeing it now, I can't help but be surprised. This thunder essence is complete too. It is at the point where it can challenge the Void Gate. How did he cultivate it? Could he really have devoured an ancient thunder dragon? The old man sucked in a breath of cold air. However, just at this moment, there was another flash of light from Wang Lin's forehead. The old man's eyes widened and he revealed a hint of excitement. This is it, this is what I saw before. This little fellow's body. There was another flash and black and white light shined from Wang Lin's forehead. The world rumbled and a long, illusory river appeared in the sky. This river was the underworld river formed by Wang Lin's life and death essence. The river swept across the sky and the head and tail connected. It was cloudy inside, and an aura of life and death erupted from it. This was Wang Lin's third essence formed by his life and death domain. The old man revealed an unimaginable excitement and joy that he hadn't felt for tens of thousands of years appeared on his face. His eyes widened and he smiled. Good, 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 there really is a third essence. This old man didn't look closely before, so it was unexpected. Before he finished speaking, he was startled for a moment. Another light flashed from Wang Lin's forehead and an illusory yin and yang symbol flew out. This yin and yang symbol contained karma. When it appeared, it seemed to tear the world apart. The sky and earth seemed to mix and a karma cycle formed. Fortunately, there were no other cultivators nearby. Otherwise, they would have been entangled inside and their inner demons would erupt, making it difficult for them to escape. All the karmic cause they had planted would become karmic effect that would destroy themselves. There are more. The old man was completely stunned and his expression was filled with shock. 4 essences? How did this child cultivate to have 4 essences? This is Tupa. The old man's pupils shrank again and he stopped mid-sentence because there was another flash of light from Wang Lin's forehead. The light this time was extremely bizarre. It looked like it was there, but it wasn't there. It constantly alternated between true and false. Real and fake images began to appear, making it impossible for people to distinguish them at a glance. The old man stared at the 5 different essences floating above Wang Lin. He swallowed hard and didn't know what to say. It wasn't until all 5 essences had disappeared back into Wang Lin's body that he let out a long sigh. No more? That's good, that's good. The old man looked at Wang Lin as if he was looking at a monster. 5 essences. 5 essence. Damn it, this little fellow is more of a monster than the 4th generation vermilion bird. How can such a monster appear in this world? Although the old man was saying this, the excitement in his eyes was indescribable. The moonlight was strong and the gentle wind continued blowing, causing the vegetation to rustle. The night gradually passed and the sun slowly rose, dispelling the darkness and coldness of the night. After a night of cultivation, the fire essence in Wang Lin's body had become a lot stronger. However, there was still a barrier to the 4th vermilion bird awakening that Wang Lin couldn't break through. The fallen elder selection had already begun at dawn. It wasn't until the sun was high above the sky, almost at noon, that the dragon blood Wang Lin had devoured slowly dissipated. Wang Lin's face returned to normal and he opened his eyes. Wang Lin let out a mouthful of foul air. This air was black, and when it fell on the ground, it created a cracking sound. It was like the ground was being baked. The moment Wang Lin opened his eyes, he saw Old Man. He pondered for a bit before getting up. He bowed and respectfully said, "Junior Wang Lin greets. 4th generation ancestor." The old man looked at Wang Lin with a strange light in his eyes. He let out a dry cough, hid that strange light in his eyes, and smiled. This old man is not the 4th generation vermilion bird. Wang Lin was startled for a moment as he looked at the old man, then a thought appeared in his mind. Are you the 1st generation vermilion bird? The old man laughed and shook his head. This old man is not the 1st generation vermilion bird, but the 2nd. It has been a long time and things are complicated. The 4th generation vermilion bird is also here. You're the 2nd clan member I've seen after him. Wang Lin silently pondered for a bit and then asked with some hesitation, "You the great emperor?" "I'm the same as you, a young emperor." The old man smiled. When he saw Wang Lin pondering, he explained, "This old man and the little 4th generation fellow are both young emperors. As for the great emperor, it is a name only outsiders use. To the vermilion bird clan, he only has one name, the 1st generation vermilion bird ancestor. He's also one of the 4 strongest generals under the ancient celestial emperor." Wang Lin's mind trembled and he suddenly looked up. The old man smiled. "As for the details, once you have been through the vermilion bird divine trial, you will know. This trial is something you must do, and for you, it might be a great fortune for you to break through to the ethereal fire realm. However, it is extremely hard, so you don't have to feel too much pressure." The old man looked to the northwest. After pondering for a bit, he said with a hint of dissatisfaction, "Why didn't you agree to Master Simo's challenge? The people of my vermilion bird clan aren't afraid of battles. After you attempt the trial, let loose and fight him. People who are invited here won't be able to cause any trouble here. The selection of the fallen elders is mere child's play. The main reason to invite so many third-step cultivators is to let them know that a new young emperor has appeared in the fallen land. You're a member of my vermilion bird clan, it doesn't matter if you come from the inner realm or not. If you leave here, I can't protect you, but if you are here, I want to see who would dare to hurt you. Remember, my vermilion bird clan must be tyrannical and biased. We must be tyrannical so that we can have a foothold in this chaotic old. Only by doing this can you make people dread the thought of moving against you. This is why instead of hiding, show off your might. That Master Simo is your target to show off your might. So what if he is a third-step cultivator? Use him to show your might." The old man's words were extremely tyrannical. Wang Lin pondered for a bit before nodding, and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. Seeing Wang Lin's expression, the old man was extremely satisfied. He looked at the lake and pondered for a bit. "Drink this dragon blood for the trial. You can't cultivate my cultivation method, but since we've met, I should give you something." Let's do this. This old man will pass you a secret spell of the clan. When the old man said the words, secret spell, his expression was very strange. Since you're a member of my clan, there is no problem in telling you. My Vermilion Bird clan never had any so-called secret spells. This secret spells was, in fact, stolen from the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, and Black Tortoise clans when the old ancestor could still move. After he brought it back, he called it the clan's secret spell. Among the 3 clans, the Black Tortoise has the greatest strength. I checked your body before and found that you somehow became an ancient god. The power of the ancient gods should make this spell even stronger. This spell isn't a spell, but a method for using force. Observe carefully. After the old man finished speaking, he walked up to the lake. He raised his hand and waved at the lake. His palm caused the water to depress, but just as the depression appeared, the old man's palm smashed down at the surface of the water. This video will end here.